Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Evan Aldo here. If you enjoy the content, please leave a thumbs up. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETH versus Bitcoin today. Bitcoin dominance as well. Some important things to look at there, especially ETH Bitcoin that looks really bearish, and Solana. Why I think we could potentially be topped out. I know it's hard to catch the exact top, but there's some more bearish signs coming up on this. First thing I want to talk about here is the kind of more macro perspective. So we're approaching a really big area. This is a really big area at 24.6 right here. This is the 200 weekly moving average at 24.6. And if you guys want to take a look at the 200 weekly moving average, it typically always, marked the bottom in your bear markets, coming back to all the way to the bear market in 2015. It went below it here, obviously. Well, you didn't really have it back then, but that was a decent bottom. So what I think here is, and we've been for the kind of the first time ever below it for a lot of time, unless you kind of count this area right here, if the, in 2015, but there wasn't enough data to have it really exist back then. So we're approaching that at, 24.6 right now. I think if we could hold this, area, it's a huge area, hold it, ideally, close a weekly candle above it, at least a few days, and still look strong above it, then we're probably entering an accumulation phase, and 15.5, 15.6 down here was probably your bottom. Now, if we do reject from it, which we absolutely can, it could be somewhat of a rally, similar to this area. We reject from it, kind of like April, we saw with April, and then come down. Things could get pretty ugly here. You could even get another blood diamond on this weekly potentially if you roll over here, because you're going to get a little trigger wave. I'm not saying it's definitely going to be a blood diamond, but could get a little trigger wave here if we do reject from it, which I think the likelihood is a bit higher that we do. And then there's the potential possibility of making lower lows in mid to late this year. If it's like April, a couple months to make a new lower low for a potential bottom in March, April, May, kind of that area. And then we'll talk about a potential bottom there. And probably worst case scenario, you'd come even lower to 10K or whatever, maybe low areas like 9K, those areas by the end of the year. I don't think it's going to go that low. I think most likely you're going to probably bottom out somewhere around the 500 weekly moving average, which is now at about 11.2K, and it's slowly rising every day. So I think that's a big place. When would you hit that? You might hit that with this spiral line in the summer sometime. It could be, more of a slow grind down here. So that's the big possibility I think is going to happen here. If we move on to, the 3-day, there definitely are signs. There's signs that it looks similar to April. And, I've been saying that for a decent amount of time, and it keeps going up now. But we're approaching a major area right here. We're approaching that 25K area. Look, blue triangle, green dot, the next red dot. That's what you want to wait for potential short. It's all a game of patience here, especially for swing shorts. Now, we do have on our 2-day, not confirmed yet, confirms in a day, blue triangle, green dot, red dot, the same kind of pattern here. Now, we want to wait till this confirms, and why I'd rather probably wait for the 3-day here. Here's another thing I want to show you guys too on the lower time frames that you might want to look at too, is because these split RSIs are now curving back up and they're coming together, which makes it a little bit more bullish, I'd say. So there's a possibility another leg up, and then you got to wait for the next red dot after this. And what I want to show you here on the daily is maybe we get another green dot up. That's your leg up to 24, this huge area. And then you get that bearish dip and you reject off of there. That's going to be the huge area. Now, I think it's going to be a little bit, so you look, this was a big jump up, a little choppy, big jump up. You're kind of getting diminished returns here. I think if we do get up to this area, it's going to be more kind of choppy. And you may not see it until the very beginning of February. It could be a week before you hit that. We're due to be a little bit more sideways, like an area like this. We could get choppy for a while. February could be a very sideways month in between, let's say, 25K and 20K. It could be just sideways boring. Like that. So we got to look at there. Also, if you're looking at some of these lower time frames, we are confirming kind of, we did confirm bearish dip money flow coming out. If you do get another green dot, just like the daily, could come up a little bit higher. Also wanted to show you, 6-day, kind of the same deal here. A lot of these are very similar. Now, 4-hour, 3-hour, 2-hour, these are big places to look for money flow crossovers, especially on the 3-hour. If you could cross into the money flow in the red here on the 3-hour, that's a high likelihood that you're probably going to have a trend reversal. I mean, what one possibility is enter when we cross into there, put a stop loss, a more liberal stop loss, maybe a little bit above 25, something like that, and then take your first profits here. That would be a decent risk reward ratio. You'd probably have to wait for a while, for that to play out. That could take weeks to play out, but that's a big possibility for kind of a swing short, especially with the little trigger wave right there. Also the hourly too, even if you're more, because all these times you come into the red in the hourly, it hasn't given us the short we were looking for. It's eventually going to. It's obviously eventually one of these will roll over and kind of give us what we're looking for. So that's a big thing to look at there. Let's move on to Ethereum here. So Ethereum, I did take a short, locked in profits on the short. I did take the short based on, I believe, kind of, on the 16-hour bearish div, money flow coming out. I locked in profits around 1590 there. So we'll see what happens. If Bitcoin pumps up, the last pump up to these areas, Ethereum would likely come up to 17, this red area, this spiral line right here. Could be, it could be a week before that happens. So could it be slower, take more time for it to happen. You are printing on the 2-day a red dot right there. With the RSIs kind of coming up, I think there's a possibility you could get a green dot after it and then get another red dot, which would mark the top. It's the same pattern kind of as Bitcoin. If you look at the blue triangle, green dot, red dot right there, that's the thing right there. And also if we look at the 3-day right there, you do have, it's a little bit different this time. You got the green dot right after. It's a little bit different that time. And the daily, just like Bitcoin, I think if you get, the next bearish div, you get a green dot, then the next bearish div, you have a next pump up to here, 1750, excuse me, then you get the bearish div and come down. I think that's a decent possibility. Also, what I'm looking at, especially combined with the 2-day, red dot there, if you could come into the red kind of on this time frame, I'd be liberal with the stop loss, but it's probably a good, drop down to 13 or something, unless we somehow break through these areas and continue higher. But as of right now, I don't see enough evidence for that to happen. I think the Fed is going to come in and sound hawkish, and I think that's going to kind of end this rally even for the stock market as well. Another thing I want to show you guys for long-term accumulation, I would probably be staying away from ETH or going just very light into ETH right now because of this blood diamond that's going to confirm on the 7-day pretty soon. Let's see if it's on the 6-day or any of these. So it's not on the 6-day. It's on the weekly though. It confirms in 6 days. I think if you break down off of this, especially if we come down deeper, if this is a nasty, nasty bull trap, nasty bull trap, come down deeper, you hit these evaluations with Bitcoin mid to late this year, that's when you want to get into ETH, and that's where there could be some momentous gains, because if you do something like this into the next bull run, that's you just 300%ed the Bitcoin if you have. So if you have Bitcoin now converted to ETH, then that's the big trade to make. You could do very well with those trades. Convert to ETH and altcoins. Then that's going to be the big place. I'm going to show you Bitcoin dominance briefly, and then I want to talk about Solana. I mean, Bitcoin dominance is just done incredible here. Money flow coming up. It's hard to look more bullish than this. Look at that money flow coming up, bullish div right there. Weekly, blue triangle, green dot. I think it's going to be more bullish than this. I don't think we're going to come down that much. I think we're going to kind of continue with this, more similar to it could be choppy for a little bit. We don't really have a similarity on the weekly with this, but I do think it's going to play out a little bit better in that. Maybe blue triangles historically maybe like this a little bit, another jump up. I mean, that's still a decent amount here, but just looking at everything other than that, I mean, 20% is pretty momentous. That's 50s, 50% area. So if we could get there in mid to late 2023, that's a big place to get into altcoins. And I think once we get our next kind of drop back, our next correction back, alts are really going to bleed against Bitcoin as Bitcoin dominance continues to rise here. I wanted to show you Solana because I think there's a big possibility it could be at least very close to the top. I mean, I know I've been talking about this, but you do have now a bearish div, split RSIs curving down. That's pretty bearish in Solana. The things I was talking about on Bitcoin to wait for have already happened here. Money flow crossover into the red. And especially since this is pumped up so much, I think there's a good possibility you're almost to the top here. I mean, maybe, just maybe you could, I think you're going to get the red dot. So if we do come up higher, maybe $30, but I'm not really seeing it right now. I think there's a good possibility we hit the top for this. Could be wrong. And this is a hard one to predict. Be careful with this. But you also have the blue triangle. So I do think, this could be a nasty bull trap too. I mean, when this does, we could have a repeat of something of this nature. You come down into mid, that's where you finally get your $3-4 into mid to late this year. And I think that's a decent probability. This could be a short that you could hang on to a while with a liberal stop loss. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. If you want to trade, check out the link to BITGET down below for experienced traders only. Check out my trading course if you're interested in that as well. Discount code BEARMARKET20. A lot of people have really liked it. Really good for beginners. So check that out. Also check out my Twitch. Going live on Twitch hopefully tonight. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Goodbye.